Daniel kept smiling politely, yet there was a slight detachment in his eyes. Maybe in their family it simply wasn't customary to show emotions in front of everyone, Anna told herself, trying to find objaśnienie. Suddenly, Viktor Nikolaevich put down his fork with a sharp, deliberate movement. His expression changed instantly. His eyes narrowed, turning predatory as he stared toward the far end of the garden. Without a word, he leapt up from the table with surprising speed for a man of his age. "I'll teach you a lesson," he growled, his voice low and dangerous. Anna froze, stunned, unable to understand what had triggered such a reaction. Viktor strode across the lawn, and on his way he grabbed a long, smooth, wooden stick that seemed to be leaning against the wall exactly for moments like this. Anna glanced at Daniel and at his mother, Joanna Borisovna. To her shock, neither of them reacted at all. While Viktor disappeared into the garden, they simply denied Idar, calm and unbothered, as if nothing unusual had just happened. Anna, bewildered and uneasy, slowly lifted a forkful of salad, still trying to understand what was going on. A few moments later, a faint squeal echoed from deep within the garden, then a sob. Anna tensed instantly. Daniel and Joanna finally looked up from their plates. Another minute passed, and from behind the bushes emerged Viktor Nikolaevich. Anna gasped. He was gripping the stick tightly in one hand, and in the other he dragged a terrified boy no older than 10 by the collar. The child's ear was red, his eyes swollen with tears. He whimpered softly, desperately trying to free himself. But Viktor's hold on him was iron strong. A cruel smirk twisted the man's face. "Well, well, caught you at last, you little thief," Viktor barked, yanking the boy closer to the table. "Thought you'd get away again? Show me what you've got there." The boy huddled in on himself, trying to shield his pocket. Viktor shook him roughly. Several ripe, golden pears rolled out onto the grass. Joanna suddenly perked up, her expression brightening with a wide but deeply unpleasant smile. "Well then, Danny," she sang, stretching out his name with false sweetness, "you're the future head of this family. Show him who owns this land. Show him how we treat freeloaders. He must learn that stealing has consequences." Daniel rose from his seat without hesitation. The expression on his face made Anna's heart lurch. She had never seen this look before. Arrogant, cold, disturbingly cruel. He approached the trembling boy and grabbed him by the ear. The child cried out, "So you're stealing from us now?" Daniel hissed through his teeth, tugging the ear upward. "Do you understand what will happen if you step onto our property again? We'll rip your ears clean off." The boy whimpered, shaking uncontrollably. Anna stared in horror. This wasn't discipline. This was humiliation. This was the pleasure of harming someone weaker. In Daniel's eyes and in the faces of his parents, she saw it clearly. A greedy, vicious possessiveness, masked by an illusion of respectability. "Daniel!" Anna's voice trembled with shock. "What are you doing? Stop! He's just a child." Joanna turned toward Anna. Her smile remained, but it had grown colder, more condescending. "Don't interfere, dear," she said calmly. "This is our family matter. Neighborhood boys have been stealing our fruit far too often. If we don't punish him now, he'll grow up to be a criminal." She waved her hand dismissively, then looked at her husband. "Viktor, pull his pants down." The boy screamed in terror. Something inside Anna snapped. She looked at Daniel, the man she had fallen in love with, but suddenly she saw him as nothing more than an extension of these cruel, soulless people. This wasn't just stinginess. It was moral ugliness. Hidden behind a facade of wealth and etiquette. "You're enjoying this," Anna said, her voice shaking with disgust. Daniel turned to her. Their eyes met, and in his gaze, Anna saw something that made her blood run cold, calculating cruelty, predator-like, tightly wrapped beneath that polite smile she once adored. It was not the gaze of someone who loved her, it was the gaze of someone who possessed. Anna rose sharply. Her voice broke at first, but then strengthened, echoing across the quiet garden, over the boys' sobs, over the grotesque laughter of the adults. "This is wrong. I will not let this happen. And I will never allow you to treat my future child the way you're treating him. I will not marry you." Everything fell silent. Daniel and his parents froze, their faces twisting with shock and anger. They had not expected resistance, especially from gentle, well-mannered Anna. At that moment, the boy sensed his chance. He tore free from Victor's grip and darted behind Anna, hiding behind her like a frightened rabbit. Without waiting for anyone to speak, Anna grabbed the child's hand and marched toward the gate. Daniel's family remained standing in the middle of their perfect, manicured lawn, speechless. Behind them, Victor's stunned voice carried across the yard. "Where do you think she's going?" A moment later, Joanna's shrill, venomous voice followed, directed at her son. "Let her go, Danny. She'll regret it. She'll come crawling back." Anna didn't look back. She led the boy out through the tall gate and onto the dirt road. Only when she was sure they were safe, she knelt before him. "You must understand that taking what isn't yours is wrong," she said gently. "You saw what can happen. You were lucky I was there, or they would have made you suffer much more." The boy blinked his wet eyes and whispered, "Thank you, ma'am. I won't do it again." "Go home now, quickly," Anna said softly, giving him a little push. He sprinted down the road without looking back. Anna straightened up and looked around, trying to get her bearings. On the nearest house, she spotted a small street sign with an address. Pulling her phone from her purse, she quickly called a taxi. By the time Anna reached home, the sun had already begun to set. Her mother opened the door almost instantly, worry written across her face. But when she saw Anna's expression, pale, shaken, exhausted, she simply pulled her daughter into a firm embrace. Anna held on tightly. For a moment, she couldn't speak at all. Her throat closed with everything she had held inside. Finally, the words burst out of her in a trembling stream. She told her mother everything, about the false warmth of Daniel's family, about the cruelty she'd witnessed, about how they'd tortured that helpless boy over a few pears, about the cold, frightening look in Daniel's eyes, about how her love had shattered into something sharp and unbearable. Her mother listened silently, one hand gently stroking Anna's hair, letting her pour it all out. "You were right, Mom," Anna whispered through sobs. "You saw it. You felt it. And I was blind. I didn't want to believe anything bad about him. But today I saw who they really are. It was horrible. I couldn't stay there." Her mother guided Anna to the kitchen table, just as she used to when Anna was a child. She poured her a warm cup of mint tea and set a slice of her favorite homemade pie in front of her. "There, sweetheart," her mother said softly, her voice warm and steady. "I felt from the very beginning that something wasn't right there. A mother's heart rarely lies." She sat beside Anna and took her hand. "But listen to me carefully, my girl." Her voice grew even before. "I'm proud of you, truly proud. Not every woman has the strength to walk away the moment she sees injustice, even when it means breaking her own heart. you stood up for what's right. You protected that boy, and you protected your own future." Anna wiped her tears, her breath shaky. Her mother continued, "The most important thing isn't wealth or pretty manners. What matters is kindness, compassion, the ability to value others, not just oneself. And a man like this, Daniel, with a heart as cold as his family, shouldn't be near you, not in your life, and certainly not as the father of your children." Something inside Anna softened. Relief washed through her like warm light. Her mother's words were not just comfort, they were truth, solid and undeniable. Anna nodded slowly. A quiet strength settled in her chest. She and her mother spent the rest of the evening together in the cozy kitchen, talking softly, sharing memories, laughing through tears. The warmth between them felt deeper than ever, as if the ordeal had brought them even closer. That night, Anna realized something important. She hadn't just escaped a toxic future, she had reclaimed her dignity, her peace, and her sense of direction. She knew now exactly what kind of man she wanted by her side, and she believed with her whole heart that such a man was out there. Dennis drove calmly and confidently. Anna tried to focus on pleasant thoughts, imagining a wonderful visit and hoping she would like his parents. She wanted to tell her mother afterward, with a smile, that she had been wrong about him. The car turned from the paved road onto a dirt lane, stopping at tall wrought iron gates. Beyond them, the perfectly maintained garden stretched as far as the eye could see. Not a single stray leaf marred the paved paths. The grass looked cut to an exact uniform length, as if trimmed with scissors. On the property stood a well-kept summer house, surrounded by blooming flowers. Dennis's father was near the shed, busy with some task, while his mother tended the flowers by the house, a brisk, upright man with a commanding gaze. Dennis's father, Samuel, and a lively woman with a constant smile. His mother, Joanna. They welcomed the young couple warmly, showering them with friendly words. Joanna chattered nonstop, her voice cheerful, but Anna sensed a certain distance. The hospitality felt more like a well-oiled machine than genuine warmth. Anna remembered Dennis's instructions, carefully walking along the stone paths, admiring the flower beds. Her hand never reached for the ripe apples or bunches of grapes growing on the pergola. Meanwhile, Samuel and Dennis began setting a large oak table under a sprawling apple tree. Joanna brought dish after dish from the house, fresh vegetables, salads, homemade baked goods, and roasted meat. "Joanna, can I help?" Anna asked, seeing Dennis's mother bustling. "Don't worry, dear," Joanna waved dismissively. "You're the guest. Guests don't help set the table. Go with Dennis and admire the roses. They're in full bloom right now." Anna hesitated slightly, but Dennis took her hand and led her toward the vibrant flower bushes. Just then, there was a hesitant knock at the gate. Samuel frowned. A middle-aged man, probably a neighbor, stood outside, shifting from foot to foot. "Excuse me, Samuel," he said, voice pleading. "I have a flat tire. Can I use your pump to get to town?" Joanna scoffed without looking. "You should have your own. Don't bother us." Samuel approached the gate slowly, speaking in a calm but icy tone. "Did you hear me? Go away. Don't disturb us." The neighbor lowered his eyes, muttered something, and left. A chill ran down Anna's spine. She barely had time to process the scene before Dennis, noticing her discomfort, gently pulled her toward a carved pergola entwined with ivy. When the table was set, the parents called them to sit. Anna and Dennis took their seats at the massive oak table, already overflowing with dishes. Samuel proudly gestured to the food, explaining the harvest. Anna, try our cucumbers, crisp and juicy, and the tomatoes, perfect shapes. All of this, with no chemicals, grown by our hands. Each fruit represents our hard work. Joanna poured apple compote and served fresh salads and roasted meat. She looked at her husband and added with pride, "Yes, dear, all of this we did ourselves, and Dennis is the best son-in-law around. Hold on to him, child, and you'll earn everyone's respect." Dennis sat beside Anna, smiling faintly, saying little. He let his parents lead the conversation, glancing at Anna occasionally. She tried to join in, complimenting the food and admiring the garden, but she felt a subtle unease. Perhaps it was just the cool garden breeze, or maybe the memory of her mother's warning lingered in her heart. Although Dennis smiled, he seemed distant. Perhaps in their family, it's not customary to show emotions openly, Anna reasoned to herself. Suddenly Samuel put down his fork. His gaze sharpened, scanning the far end of the garden. He sprang up with surprising speed for his age, grabbing a long, well-carved stick that had been leaning against the house. Anna froze, confused, glancing at Dennis and Joanna. But at the table, everyone else continued eating as if nothing had happened. From the garden came a muffled squeak, then a whimper. Anna tensed. Dennis and Joanna looked up following Samuel's movement. Moments later, he reappeared, dragging a terrified boy of about 10 by his collar. The boy's ear was red, his eyes filled with tears. Samuel's expression was cruel, almost predatory. "You thought you could steal from us, little thief?" Samuel barked, pulling the boy closer to the table. The child tried to hide something in his pocket, but golden pears spilled onto the ground. Joanna, who had been silent, now smiled broadly, but it was an unpleasant, unsettling smile. "Dennis," she sang out, looking at her son, "show him who's in charge of this family. Teach him that taking what isn't yours is wrong. Let him remember this for life." Dennis rose obediently, his face twisted into an expression Anna had never seen before, a mix of arrogance and chilling coldness. He grabbed the boy by the ear, raising him slightly. "Understand what happens if you trespass again?" he hissed. "We'll make sure you regret it." Anna watched in horror. This was not just discipline, it was humiliation. In their eyes, she saw only greed and ownership, no compassion. The false veneer of civility crumbled, revealing their brutal, self-centered nature. "Dennis!" Anna's voice trembled with outrage. "Stop! He's just a child. Let him go!" Joanna turned toward her, still smiling, now with a cold, patronizing edge. "Don't interfere, dear. This is our business. These neighborhood kids have been stealing our harvest. If we don't teach them, they'll grow up delinquent." She then ordered Samuel to remove the boy's trousers, and the child screamed in terror. Something snapped in Anna. She looked at Dennis, the man she loved, and saw him as a part of this merciless family. This was more than selfishness. It was cruelty cloaked in wealth and propriety. "You're enjoying his suffering!" Anna shouted. She stood abruptly, her voice ringing across the quiet garden, drowning out the boy's sobs and the parents' harsh laughter. "This is wrong. I won't let you treat any child like this. I will not marry you." Dennis and his parents froze. Shock and anger distorted their faces. They hadn't expected such defiance from sweet Anna. The boy, sensing his chance, wriggled free and ran to Anna, hiding behind her. Without hesitation, she grabbed his hand and led him safely out of the garden. Outside the gates, she knelt in front of him. "Taking what isn't yours is wrong," she said gently. "See what could happen? Luckily, I was here. Otherwise, they'd have punished you severely." The boy's eyes were wide with fear. "Thank you, miss. I won't do it again." Anna helped him run down the road, then retrieved her phone and called a taxi. By evening, Anna was home. Her mother, anxious at first, embraced her tightly when she saw her daughter's state. Anna recounted everything: the false hospitality, the cruelty of Dennis and his parents, and her decision. Her mother listened silently, stroking Anna's hair. "You were right, my darling," she said softly. "You saw their true nature. Today, you witnessed the real people behind the facade. I'm proud of you for standing up for your principles. The right man will be kind and compassionate, someone who values others, not just himself. Dennis and his family are not worth it." Anna felt a wave of relief and lightness, as if a weight had been lifted. Her mother's words were the truest comfort. They spent the evening together, talking quietly, sharing warmth and love. Anna knew that happiness awaited her with someone deserving. She now understood exactly what she was looking for in a partner, and that real love and support had always been beside her, in her mother.